Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Doucet, and I'm going to do my project on the Russian annexation of Crimea. Here's the location. So the country of Ukraine we have here. It's considered Eastern Europe. Here's a little bit of a closer look. And then Crimea is down here. So this is the Crimean Peninsula. That's what they're called down here in this map. And you can see it's very, very close with Russia. This is the Kerch Strait. So now we're going to get a little bit more specific. So the USSR fell in 1991 with the end of the Cold War. 92% of Ukrainians supported leaving. They elected a new president. It is the second largest population and economy of the divided 15 Soviet republics. And this map just kind of shows how diverse Crimea and Ukraine are. So we have the center and like the western region that are mostly Ukrainian. The south and the east are mostly connected to Russia and have those ties to the Soviet Union. Right next, we have in 1994, Ukraine joined NATO, and then in 2000, there was actually a deal stating that Ukraine and any other ex-USSR members could begin to make treaties with one another. All right, and then in 2010, uh, Viktor Yanukovych was elected president of Ukraine, and this is kind of where it all starts to go downhill. Um, he's the fourth president of Ukraine, and he's very, very pro-Russian. This is a map, a breakdown, and so you can see here, like if you compare it to the map I just showed you, that all the Russian-influenced areas tend to voted for him. All right, and then we have in the end of 2013, the Ukrainian government didn't sign a negotiation agreement with the EU, and this agreement would have allowed for Ukraine to have a little bit more political and financial support. But instead, Yanukovych opted for more of a Eurasian economic union. Many people were very dissatisfied with this, and so some protests began in the capital over here. This is Kiev. He then fled to Russia, actually, in 2014. And then because the country was left without a president and it was very vulnerable, pro-Russian gunmen began to occupy Crimea and parts of Ukraine in March. There was a new head of Crimea who was also very, very pro-Russian. He said that they would need Russia's assistance to provide assistance in ensuring peace and tranquility, in which Russia responded, or Vladimir Putin to be exact, responded with a pledge to assist Crimea. Then in March 2014, Putin kept denying accusations of wanting to annex Crimea. So Russian presence grows, and there began talk of holding a referendum to actually decide the future of Crimea. So the referendum was held on March 16th. 95.5% of Crimean voters actually supported this, where the US and the UN and many other countries disapproved. So March 17th, the Crimean parliament officially declared its independence from Ukraine. And 100 other countries agreed that the March referendum was in fact done illegally. All right, and then we have some effects of Crimea separating from Ukraine and joining Russia. Basically, this area that connects the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, I believe, is big on trade here. There was a treaty in 2004 that had once said that both countries could use the ports, but once this all became under Russian control, when Ukrainian ships tried to come all the way around Crimea to go through to trade, they were actually fired upon, and there were quite a few deaths. And then another effect is that Russia is no longer in the Group of Eight. So the Group of Eight is an intergovernmental political group that was formed in 1997 and lasted up until 2014. And they're all very like highly industrialized nations, and those include France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, Japan, US, Canada, and then of course Russia. But all of the other countries, when this went down, when Crimea was annexed, voted to remove Russia from the Group of Eight. So they then became the Group of Seven. Biggest effect was since the war or the revolution began in 2014, like February, there were an estimated 13,000 deaths. A quarter of those were civilians, coming in at 3,300, and then 30,000 people were wounded, and roughly 7,000 to 9,000 of those were citizens. And then the total number of deaths were upwards of 10,000. And then here's my works cited for all of my multimedia sources. And then here are my works cited for all of my non-media sources. Thank you so much for listening.